Archives of Prasar Bharati presents the timeless treasure of golden era.
Art is the reshaping of reality by man to present it in an understandable way. As the artist recreates the world around him, it is shaped by how he sees it and what he believes in. The Indian artist did not attempt to depict only the material reality around him. He wished to share the complete experience of the moment, not just the photographic presentation of the shapes around him. Beauty for the Indian artist has been a reflection of the glory of God. In fact, for the ancient artist, the experience of beauty, the ecstasy on seeing nature or art which is truly beautiful, has been considered as akin to Brahmanand or the final bliss. Join us on this journey into the heart of the Indian tradition of painting. Come with us to the gorge of the Vaghora river, where Ajanta was created, to the courts of the Mughals and the Deccani Sultans. Journey with us through the deserts of Rajasthan and the icy lands of Ladakh and Lahaul Spiti. In the verdant south and in the gentle hills of the north, experience the compassionate view of life that is enshrined in Indian painting.
India has a great heritage of painting, coming from ancient times. These paintings are made deep in the heart of temples and on the walls of sacred caves. They are vivid pages of history, which bring alive 2,000 years of India's glorious past. With vibrant colour and exquisite detail, the paintings of Ajanta recreate the splendour of the ancient civilization of our country. We see here the palaces of times gone by. We see the rich textiles for which India was renowned all over the world. These 5th century paintings reveal the fulsome development of traditions which survive till today, such as the ikat form of woven textiles and block printing. The finest translucent silken garments adorn the figures. These ancient paintings present a world of men and women, kings and commoners, city and village folk, who are even today recognizable from their distinct apparel. We see in these ancient paintings the deep roots of our culture. These paintings fill us with a sense of happiness and pride in our culture, which is one of the oldest continuing in the world. India has a vast heritage of mural paintings from practically every century of the past 2 millennia. These are some of the finest paintings of the ancient period of the entire world, and they survive deep in temples and caves scattered all over the country. They are sometimes in the most unexpected places, and often we walk past them without knowing that fine paintings are hidden away very close to us. Here in deep recesses in the outer ambulatory wall of the 7th century Kailashnath temple in Kanchipuram are some of the oldest surviving Shaivite paintings. Such paintings would have once covered the walls and sculptures of many magnificent temples of the ancient period. The 9th century murals on the ceiling of the cave at Sittanavasal are the earliest surviving paintings of the Jain faith. These paintings continue both the technical finesse and the joyful exuberance which is seen in the great paintings of Ajanta. The 9th century paintings at Ellora continue the legacy of Jain paintings. The 10th century paintings in the inner ambulatory of the Brihadishwar temple at Thanjavur bring alive the imperial grandeur of the great Chola Empire. These paintings were hidden under a layer of plaster and 17th century paintings. In recent times, the Archaeological Survey of India has removed and preserved the upper layer of paintings to reveal the glorious Chola paintings beneath. The 11th century murals painted in monasteries made of mud across the icy Trans-Himalayas present a fascinating crucible of cultures. Here in Ladakh, in a ceiling painting, we see a depiction of Kalari Payat from faraway Kerala. There are depictions of the Sumstek, the 3-storied temple structure of Kashmir. These details are very valuable to us today as the original structures have been destroyed over the passage of time. We see here Central Asian horsemen who would have ridden across the high passes 1,000 years ago. These paintings are a living proof of the marvelous cosmopolitan culture that existed in Kashmir and Ladakh. People from diverse cultures rubbed shoulders with each other in these ancient meeting places on the trade routes. The 16th century paintings on the ceiling of the Lipakshi temple open a page of the enthralling history of the Vijayanagar Empire. The rich beauty of the textiles reflects the prosperous and cosmopolitan life of this great medieval kingdom. While the paintings of Lipakshi were being made here in the Vijayanagar Empire, murals were also being painted at Fatehpur Sikri, the capital of Akbar, the great Mughal ruler. The late medieval period witnessed a vast range of mural paintings, which were made from Orissa in the east to Kerala in the south, to Rajasthan in the west, and the Trans-Himalayan regions in the north. While these grand murals were being painted on the walls of palaces and temples, exquisite miniatures were being made on palm leaves and later on paper. Fortunately, large numbers of these manuscripts and folios survive till today and bring alive the culture of their times. These are in fact a major source of our knowledge of the details of politics, lifestyles, and religious and social customs of bygone eras. In fact, even today, the study of these paintings helps us unravel the riddles of history.
Actually, the Mughal paintings are of immense help to understand and to study and also to identify various Mughal structures. Because earlier, most of the historians, they have been identifying various buildings of Fatehpur Sikri as Ibadat Khana. But when I went through all those monuments, I felt that this could not be the Ibadat Khana, and then I excavated a particular structure. But after excavating a particular structure, you can say that Ibadat Khana, but the problem is, how to say definitely that this was the real Ibadat Khana. For that, I had to take the help of a Mughal painting, in which the discussion was going on between Akbar and some of the other scholars also. It was on the basis of this particular painting and the similarity of the painting with the excavated structure, we could prove that this was the real Ibadat Khana. In the painting, we can see there are 3 platforms. Similarly, 3 platforms have been excavated in the excavations also. And then there was a step in the painting, and that step also we could excavate. There was a boundary wall running all around, the whole boundary wall could be excavated. And then on the back side, there are 3 arches, and we could, during the excavation time also, we could get all the 3 arches as it was shown in the painting. And then apart from that, a dome has been shown in the painting, and that dome also we could get excavated. So, the painting exactly reflected that the structure which we have excavated. This way we could prove that this was the real Ibadat Khana on the similarity of the painting with the excavated structure.
The story of Indian art comes down from thousands of years ago, long before the historic period. The world is today discovering the early roots of India's and indeed the world's civilization.
The preservation of rock paintings is adversely affected both by the ravages of time and the effects of human visitation in modern times. Many sites are much damaged, but here we have selected a site near Bhopal which is particularly well preserved. This site is much better preserved because there has been comparatively little visitation by humans, and it is not so well known. It is not a public site. The paintings here are excellently preserved in comparison to anything anywhere in the world.
There are highly expressive and lively paintings of prehistoric man in many cave shelters spread all over the country. These have a wealth of information to yield to us and are valuable treasures of our past which need to be guarded and conserved. Many sites of the art of early man are still being discovered, such as the ISCO site found in recent years by Bulu Imam near Hazaribagh in the state of Jharkhand.
Since then, over a dozen rock art sites have been brought to light in this region by our INTAC, that is the Indian National Trust for Art and Cultural Heritage chapter in Hazaribagh, and I as its convener, Bulu Imam, have spearheaded this, should I say, spate of discoveries in different directions, including the connection between the rock art sites and the village art.
The walls of palaces, temples, and even homes in India were once extensively painted. Most of these murals have been lost to the passage of time and to changed cultural norms. Great treasures of murals have been lost to recent whitewashing and repainting. Unfortunately, in many instances, valuable ancient paintings have been covered with new paintings.
But the damage is mostly done by the public because they whitewash, they repaint with artists who have no idea what they are doing. So, the whole notion of retouching or doing something on the surface of a painting itself, to me, it is a very very unscientific way of looking at things. They don't realize that repainting in ancient days when it was done, it had a different system altogether. Today that kind of a tradition is not there, the technique is not there. So, if you use any other foreign material like oil medium or gum medium, you are actually damaging the surface.
Conservation efforts have been taken up of the large numbers of mural paintings which are spread all over Rajasthan. Here in the Mehrangarh fort, the murals are being cleaned to reveal the original colors. In recent years, the exquisite murals of the Nagaur fort were cleaned and preserved under expert guidance. These are among the finest murals of Rajasthan. Watchful individuals are today discovering a wealth of murals which still survive in many remote corners of India. Organizations are working to protect and conserve this vast cultural heritage.
The Indian Conservation Institute's Orissa Art Conservation Centre at Bhubaneswar collaborated with the India Foundation for the Arts, Bangalore, and we worked on a hunch that there would be at least 70 to 80 wall painting sites in Orissa, which no one knows about, because official records say that there are 11 sites or 12 sites. We worked on this hunch. Over a 2-year period, we surveyed all the 30 districts of Orissa and brought to light 77 wall painting sites. Most of these sites are exquisitely illustrated. These are mural paintings on mud walls, mural paintings on lime plastered walls. One of the things that came to light from the documentation was that most of these paintings are in an utter state of decay, and if left on their own, they would definitely disintegrate in the next 10 to 15 years. This is further compounded by the fact that there is absolute apathy and lack of awareness of even the existence of these wall paintings, and because of which no measures are being taken to conserve them. There is also there's a propensity to repaint these wall paintings, these murals, old murals. As a result, a number of these are getting destroyed. We teamed up with the traditional artisans of Orissa, and we have now taken on a project with the support of NORAD of Norway to revive this ancient mural painting skill, and this is going to be taking place in different parts of Orissa. Another thing that has happened is it has, because of the condition reports that were prepared of all these manuscripts, conservation projects have been initiated. Already 3 wall painting conservation sites have been completed. Conservation work on 3 sites has been completed, and conservation work on 2 sites is under progress. One thing that we saw was that in Orissa, not only are traditional artisans not making mural paintings, they are also forgetting the skills which their forefathers had. And these artisans are not training their children now on how to make mural paintings. So what we are planning to do now is to give this skill back to the artisans. We found out how lime plasters are made in collaboration with the Institute of Physics in Bhubaneswar, and now we are holding workshops on how to make lime plasters, how to create mural paintings in the traditional manner initially, so that the children and the families and everyone can once again start making mural paintings in Orissa.
As in other parts of the country, Punjab also had a rich tradition of mural painting. Temples, palaces and forts would once have all been profusely covered with murals. With the passage of time and the repainting of most of these walls, much of this treasure of art has been lost. A recent documentation and conservation project has brought to light forgotten sites of mural paintings in Punjab, and efforts are ongoing to conserve these valuable paintings.
The temple in Kishankot is something which I came across while I was doing a listing project in district Gurdaspur, where we were actually traveling from village to village looking for historic buildings. When I walked in, I saw the wall paintings. I hadn't read about it. I hadn't come across any written records about the wall paintings before I found them. We were going to involve the community in the conservation process because we were not going to bring in a contractor who was going to do the civil work and disappear with his manpower. We were going to train the local people to do the conservation of the building. In the process of this 1.5-year work in Kishankot, they got trained in the removal of lime wash from the wall paintings. The ones who got skilled got trained in removal of lime wash from painted surfaces too. So there was community participation in practically all aspects of the conservation work that happened in Kishankot.
The high-altitude trans-Himalayan region of Ladakh has been a great crucible of India's ancient culture. There are many Buddhist monasteries dating back to as early as the 11th century, which still survive in this cold desert region. Many of these are in a crumbling state of decay. The treasure of exquisite mural paintings inside the monasteries is being lost at an alarming rate. In recent years, the Delhi-based Cultural Documentation and Conservation Foundation has structurally repaired and conserved 2 crumbling monasteries of the 11th and 13th centuries. The Guru Lakhang in Old Phyang village and the remote Wandla monastery in the Khaltse subdivision of Leh district are mud structures in which the walls and roofs had become extensively damaged. Rainwater was seeping in through the cracks and damaging the murals inside. Government scientists, the religious leaders of the Ladakhi community, and the few still remaining traditional artisans came together to carefully guide and to carry out the structural repairs. 7 villages around the Wandla monastery came together in a major effort to save the ancient structure, which is a deep and revered part of their history. With the strengthening of the walls and roofs, the fast disappearing murals inside have been granted a new life. Some of the finest paintings in India were made on fragile palm leaves. The earliest surviving ones belong to the 11th and 12th centuries. These are among the most graceful and sublime of Indian paintings. The art of palm leaf paintings continued through the late medieval period in Orissa.
The Orissa State Museum has one of the world's most exquisite collection of palm leaf manuscripts, and these manuscripts date back to the 16th century. And these manuscripts have become very brittle. They've been eaten by insects, and most of the edges are broken and the leaves are torn. So the Orissa Art Conservation Center established a palm leaf conservation laboratory in the State Museum building in Bhubaneswar and has taken on a project for the conservation of these manuscripts. The treatment methodology devised is indigenous. It has been developed here, and now this methodology is being taught to all the South Asian countries to conserve manuscripts in their nations. Over the next 3 years, we plan to visit every village, in every block, in every panchayat, in every district of Orissa, and go to each and every village, document the condition of their palm leaf manuscripts, and teach the people in the village itself how to conserve the manuscripts, how to undertake preventive conservation of these manuscripts, so that they can preserve the heritage in their village itself. And to help in this effort, we have taken out publications, 16-page booklets in very simple language, in the local language, in English, in Hindi also. And these booklets are meant for distribution in all these villages.
From Punjab in the west to Orissa in the east, there is a growing awareness of the need to preserve our heritage. Individuals and institutions have begun valuable pioneering work. We have one of the oldest and finest traditions of painting in the world. It is a vast legacy which preserves 2,000 years of our cultural and philosophic history and is invaluable.
We have a database of over 3,000 buildings, historic buildings in Punjab, and with some number with wall paintings. But unfortunately, I mean, it's very important because to preserve these buildings, because local history, regional history is very critical. I mean, if we expect the average Punjabi or any regional person to identify with a larger history of the country, it's important to start from their local environment before you kind of expect them to empathize with the larger historic patterns.
And another thing I think that people in the cities or the urban people or the intelligentsia or the members of the creative arts could do is they could create initiatives across India of first of all identifying places which are very beautiful and might be threatened, whether in Jharkhand or in the Nilgiris, and making specific attempts to document whatever heritage is in that region, not merely with the intention of documentation, but as we have done with the art over here, to create awareness of that particular heritage.
I think if people can work together as individuals first, and then you can form teams and communities and things like that, I think everyone can make a difference.